So, you know how much time and effort we all put into our online presence, making sure our websites look fantastic and reach the right people?
Oh, absolutely.
But have you ever really stopped to think if maybe there's a whole group of potential visitors that are kind of missing out entirely?
Hmm.
Like, have you considered if your site is really usable by everyone, and I mean everyone, including people with disabilities?
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that often gets overlooked.
It really does.
And it can have some pretty big implications.
Yeah, so that's what we're diving into today.
Absolutely diving deep.
Website accessibility, why it's so important, why people don't seem to think about it enough, and also a pretty cool opportunity that's popping up around all this
Yeah.
with the 508 Help Desk team at PCB Media Group.
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
So for this deep dive, we've gone through a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Agent training materials, internal documents, we've looked at news reports, and even some insights from Norm Alexander Jr.'s book, Use Your Mind and Prosper.
Oh, wow. Covering all the bases.
So we want to make sure you really get why web accessibility is becoming such a big deal.
Right. Like, what does it mean for businesses in the real world?
Exactly. And then we also want to introduce you to this really interesting opportunity that's growing within this field.
Right.
A chance to not just learn about it, but also maybe build a pretty solid income by helping businesses figure it all out.
Learn and earn.
Exactly.
Love it.
So let's kick things off by understanding just how big of an issue this really is.
All right, let's do it.
And right off the bat, the numbers are pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, I bet.
WFLA News Channel 8 reported a huge jump back in 2018, like a 181% increase in ADA-related website lawsuits filed in federal court, totaling over 2,200 cases.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
That's a huge red flag.
It is a really big deal.
Shows you how seriously they're taking this whole thing from a legal perspective.
Totally.
Like, this isn't just a slap on the wrist anymore.
Yeah.
This is the real deal.
It is.
And what's really interesting is what that number tells us. It's not just about a couple of isolated cases.
Right.
It means that more and more people are realizing that the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act,
Yeah.
the one that's been applied to physical places forever, well, it's now being applied to the digital world, too.
It makes sense.
Websites are becoming like public spaces in a way.
Yeah, and to really bring that home, WFLA shared this story about a small business called Island Comfort Footwear.
Interesting.
So they had like a basic website, cost them just $65 a month.
Oh, wow.
But they got sued by a blind woman
Oh, no.
because their site wasn't compatible with her screen reading software.
I see. So even a simple website can lead to big problems.
Exactly. You think it's affordable, you're online, you're good to go, but then, bam, unexpected legal costs.
And those costs can add up quickly.
They really can. And the thing is, the business owner in that case actually said that ADA compliance for their website was never even mentioned when they had it built.
Wow. So they didn't even know.
And according to WFLA, this is happening all the time.
Oh, geez.
Like, they talked to a web developer who described the whole thing as the Wild West,
Oh, yikes.
and a small business owner who felt like a sitting duck.
It's a tough spot to be in for sure.
It is, and here's another thing that's really important to remember.
Yeah.
When it comes to website accessibility, the responsibility usually falls on the business owner.
Oh, so not the web developer.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Even if you paid someone to build your website, you're still the one who could be in trouble legally if it's not accessible.
That's a bit of a curveball.
It is, and these lawsuits can get really expensive.
I can imagine.
Settlements and legal fees could be thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow. That could wipe out a small business.
It could be really devastating.
And beyond the legal stuff,
Yeah.
there's the human side of this too. Like
Right.
the report talked about Louise, who uses a screen reader,
Okay.
which is software that reads website content out loud.
I see.
She was saying how frustrating it is to try and use websites that aren't coded properly.
Yeah.
It's like trying to get into a building where all the doors are locked for you.
Right. Everyone else can just walk in and she can't.
Exactly. It's a barrier.
It is a barrier.
It is.
And the report also touched on something that can be a bit controversial. The whole thing about people and law firms that are filing tons of these accessibility lawsuits.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
They mentioned this one woman who sued 175 businesses in just 2 years,
Oh, wow.
which is a lot.
It is a lot.
And it does make you wonder if some people are taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the legal experts they talked to basically said that it's often cheaper for businesses to just settle these cases.
Then to fight them in court.
Exactly.
And-
It's like picking your battles.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So even though there are different opinions and different ways to look at it, the main message is pretty clear.
What's that?
Web accessibility is a big deal, and it's only going to get bigger.
Okay, so what can businesses do about it?
Well, the good news is that fixing these accessibility problems doesn't always mean rebuilding your whole website from scratch.
Oh, good.
A lot of times the fixes are actually pretty simple, especially if you think about them early on when you're first building the site.
Right. Prevention is better than cure, they say.
It really is.
So are there resources out there to help with this stuff?
There are,
Like
the National Federation for the Blind.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of them.
They offer audits and guidance to help businesses understand and improve their website accessibility.
So they're like accessibility consultants.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And that actually leads us perfectly into why we wanted to talk about 508 Help Desk
Okay.
and their parent company, PCB Media Group.
All right, so how do they fit into all of this?
So 508 Help Desk is an independent part of PCB Media Group,
Okay.
and it's the sister brand to Local AdWeb. It's basically a whole team dedicated to helping businesses with all this web accessibility stuff.
Makes sense. A specialist team
Yeah.
focused on a very specific issue.
And their mission is really interesting.
Fill me in.
They want to make the internet more accessible, inclusive, and legally compliant for businesses of all sizes.
That's a pretty admirable mission.
It is, and as their agent materials point out, it's not just about selling a service.
Right.
It's about providing a real solution to a problem that's getting bigger and bigger.
One that's important legally and ethically.
Exactly.
So what exactly do they do?
So they offer a bunch of services to help businesses get accessible and stay accessible.
Okay.
And it all starts with something really valuable: a free website accessibility report.
Free. That's a good start.
It gives businesses a quick look at how accessible their website is right now.
Like an initial assessment.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
From there, they can do more in-depth audits, both manual and automated.
So they really get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, to find specific problems. And then they offer remediation services to actually fix those problems.
Okay, so they don't just tell you what's wrong, they help you fix it.
Right.
I like that.
They also help create accessibility statements and website badges so businesses can show that they're compliant.
That's smart.
And they even offer ongoing monitoring and monthly support.
Oh, wow. So it's not just a one-time thing.
It's not.
It's ongoing support.
To make sure that the websites stay accessible over time.
That makes a lot of sense because things change all the time on the web.
Exactly. And they also offer more general services like web design, SEO,
Yeah.
and reputation management.
But all with an accessibility focus.
Always with that accessibility focus.
Right.
And their target markets are the ones where accessibility is super important.
Okay, so who are we talking about here?
So first, you've got small businesses that might not even know about these requirements.
Right, they're just trying to run their business.
Then you've got government contractors.
Yeah, okay.
They often have to meet specific accessibility standards.
Because of government regulations.
Exactly. It's called Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act.
That's where the 508 and 508 help desk comes from.
That's right.
Clever.
And then there are organizations in healthcare, law, and education.
Okay, yeah. Accessibility is crucial in those fields.
It is, because they're serving diverse communities and everyone needs to be able to access their services.
Makes sense.
So now this is where things get really interesting.
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
508 Help Desk is expanding their team,
Okay.
and they're offering people like you the chance to become independent agents
Oh, wow.
and be a part of this whole thing.
So this isn't just about learning about web accessibility.
It's not.
It's about getting involved and helping businesses solve this problem.
And making the internet a more inclusive place.
And potentially earning some income along the way.
Exactly. And the way they've set it up is pretty cool.
Tell me more.
You can work remotely.
Okay.
You set your own schedule.
Nice. That flexibility is huge.
It is. And you don't need any experience with web development or coding.
Real.
They provide all the training you need.
So you learn as you go.
Yeah, they teach you everything about accessibility and how their services work.
And what about the income potential?
So they say that even working part-time agents could aim for $2,000 or more per month.
Not bad.
And there's no limit to how much you could earn as you grow and maybe even build a team.
Oh, wow. So there's real growth potential.
There is. And the best part is that you're offering something that businesses actually need,
Right, like we were talking about before.
and often something they're legally required to have.
So you're not trying to sell them something they don't want.
Exactly. You're providing a solution to a real problem.
A problem that's not going away anytime soon.
Nope.
So how does the money side of things work?
Okay, so 508 Help Desk uses a revenue sharing model,
Okay, I've heard of those.
similar to Local AdWeb.
Got it.
The company keeps a third of the revenue,
Okay.
and the other two-thirds goes to the agents as commissions.
Makes sense.
And this is where their rank structure comes in.
All right, so how do the ranks work?
So you start as a representative,
Okay.
and you earn a 40% commission on that two-thirds. As you sell more and your total monthly revenue grows.
This includes your own sales plus any sales from your team.
Exactly. You move up in the ranks.
I see.
Team leaders earn 50%.
Okay.
District leaders, 60%.
Got it.
Regional managers, 70%.
All right.
Marketing directors, 80%.
Wow, those percentages are adding up.
And the top rank agency owner earns a whopping 90%.
90%, that's impressive.
It is.
So there's a clear path for growth.
There is, and there's also the possibility of override commissions.
Oh, interesting. What are those?
So if you build a team, you earn a percentage based on the difference in rank between you and your team members.
Okay, so someone on your team is a team leader and you're a district leader, you get a percentage of their sales.
Exactly.
That's a nice incentive to help your team members succeed.
It is, because their success helps you move up too.
And make more money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to become an agency owner, you need to hit $30,000 in monthly revenue.
$30,000 a month.
That's the top level.
That's a big goal, but it's definitely achievable.
It is.
If you've got a solid team.
And to give you an idea of how much you could actually earn.
Yeah, give me an example.
They had this example in their materials of earning $2,000 or more per month just as a representative.
Okay.
And that's based on selling just 4 website accessibility packages each month.
Just 4.
Yeah, each package costs $799 to set up.
All right.
And then there's a $79 monthly fee for ongoing monitoring.
So if you sell 4 of those.
You're looking at around $3,516 in total revenue each month.
Okay.
Your share of that would be about $2,344.
And at 40% commission?
That's around $937.
Not bad for selling just 4 packages.
And remember, that doesn't even include the recurring income from those monthly monitoring fees.
Right, and any extra services the client might need.
So you could easily be making more than $2,000 a month.
So that's just the starting point.
Exactly. And they also have this whole strategy for scaling up through leadership.
Okay, how does that work?
So if you recruit and train 3 active representatives
Okay.
who are each making around $3,000 a month,
Uh-huh.
your total revenue would hit $9,000.
Which would bump you up to district leader
Exactly.
and a higher commission.
And as your team grows and you hit that $30,000 a month mark,
You become an agency owner.
Yeah.
The top dog.
the big cheese.
With the 90% commission.
Exactly.
This is sounding more and more appealing.
So let's say you're interested. How do you actually get started?
Yeah, walk me through it.
Okay, so the first thing you do is complete their training program.
All right, what do they cover in the training?
So they teach you the basics of web accessibility,
Okay.
like what Section 508 and WSITE 2.1 guidelines are all about.
Those are the accessibility standards, right?
Exactly. And they give you sales scripts, frequently asked questions,
Mhm.
case studies, all that good stuff.
So you're fully equipped.
Yeah, they make sure you know what you're talking about.
What's next?
Then you get access to all their tools and resources.
What kind of tools?
So they have a CRM system.
Okay, for managing leads and clients.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They also have a professional pitch deck, marketing materials, a free report request form, and even templates for proposals and agreements.
Wow, so they really provide everything you need.
They do. And then the third step is outreach.
Okay, so getting out there and finding businesses,
Exactly. They encourage new agents to start by finding local businesses
right?
and offering them that free accessibility report.
That's a good way to start the conversation.
It shows them the value of what 508 Help Desk can do
And then you follow up with them to explain what the report found.
and how 508 Help Desk can help them fix any problems.
Got it. So what are the expectations for agents?
So they recommend aiming for at least 20 outreach attempts each day.
20 a day.
Yeah, to keep the momentum going.
Makes sense.
And they really stress the importance of logging everything in the CRM.
Oh, yeah, so you can track your progress.
And stay organized.
Important.
It is.
What else?
They want you to follow up with businesses within 24 hours of them getting their free report.
Wow, so quick follow-up is key.
It is. And they encourage you to participate in weekly sales calls.
For motivation and best practices.
Yeah. And they expect agents to represent 508 Help Desk professionally.
Of course.
So it's all about building a good reputation.
Right, so you're not just selling a service, you're representing a brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they also have some really helpful success tips.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So one big one is to lead with education.
Not just scare tactics.
Right. Don't just focus on the legal risks. Help businesses understand why accessibility is good for them.
Like how it can help them reach more people.
Exactly. and improve their customer experience.
Makes sense.
They also say to personalize your approach.
Right. Don't just use a generic script.
Tailor it to each business.
Good advice.
And use real-world examples.
Show them how accessibility has helped other businesses.
Exactly. And frame it as an opportunity.
Not just an obligation.
Right. It's a chance to improve their website and reach more customers.
I like that positive spin.
And they have this specific strategy for getting started quickly.
Okay, tell me about it.
It's called the warm market launch strategy.
Interesting.
So they tell new agents to make a list of 50 to 100 business owners they already know.
Okay, so people they have a connection with.
Exactly, like friends, family members,
Yeah.
local shop owners, anyone.
People who might be more receptive.
Yeah, because you already have that relationship.
That's smart.
It can help you get some early wins and build your confidence.
Makes a lot of sense.
So now let's talk about the man behind all of this.
Okay.
Norm Alexander Jr.
The founder.
Yes. And his background is pretty impressive.
Fill me in.
He has over 20 years of experience in website design, artificial intelligence, and most importantly, digital accessibility.
Wow, so he's been in the game for a while.
He has, and he's helped tons of businesses improve their online presence and meet those accessibility standards.
He sounds like the perfect person to lead this initiative.
He really does.
So what are his core strengths?
So he's really strong in website development and design.
Okay.
He's an expert in digital accessibility standards like WCAG 2.1 and Section 508.
Right, those are the big ones.
He's also got experience with AI video production and content creation.
Wow.
And he's great with SEO and digital marketing.
So he's got the technical skills and the marketing know-how.
He does, and he's also a really strong leader.
It sounds like he's got a pretty comprehensive skill set.
He does,
Yeah.
and his work experience really backs it all up.
Tell me about it.
He's been a freelance digital marketing specialist since 2010,
Okay.
and he's designed and developed over 100 websites.
Wow. A lot of websites.
Always with a focus on accessibility.
Impressive.
And he's also worked as a health communication specialist
Okay.
for a bunch of different organizations, making sure their online platforms were accessible and easy to use.
So he's got experience in different industries?
He does, and before that, he was a webmaster,
Okay.
supporting big public health initiatives.
So he's got a solid technical foundation.
He really does. And what I find really interesting
Yeah.
is that he's been involved with some pretty well-known organizations,
Like what?
like A.L. Williams, World Marketing Alliance, Local AdLink, and AdZoo.
Oh, wow. Those are big names.
They are.
So he's no stranger to building successful networks.
Exactly. And he's seen firsthand how people can achieve their financial goals through entrepreneurship.
So it seems like 508 Help Desk is his way of bringing all of that experience together
Yeah, it's his new mission.
to help people earn a good income while making the internet more accessible.
And it's all based on his expertise in both those areas.
It's a pretty powerful combination.
It is. And it's also worth mentioning his book.
Use Your Mind and Prosper.
Yeah.
What's that about?
So it's all about self-direction, having a positive mindset, determination, overcoming challenges.
Sounds like it aligns with the whole entrepreneurial spirit.
It definitely does.
So he's not just teaching people how to sell, he's teaching them how to succeed.
Exactly.
And that's a really important distinction.
It is.
So when's the best time to get involved with 508 Help Desk?
So they're saying that now is the perfect time
Why is that?
because they're still in pre-launch.
Oh, so it's like the ground floor.
Exactly.
You get in early.
And they're also saying that spots are limited.
Okay, so they're being selective.
They are. They want to make sure they're building a dedicated team.
Makes sense. They want people who are serious about this.
Exactly.
So to sum it all up, we've talked about why website accessibility is so important.
And how it's becoming a legal requirement for more and more businesses.
And we've seen the real-world consequences of not being compliant.
Through those news reports.
Right.
And now we've got this unique opportunity to join 508 Help Desk,
At the very beginning,
be a part of Norm Alexander Jr.'s vision.
and use his expertise to help businesses and earn a good income.
It's not just a job. It's a chance to make a real difference.
So if you're interested in learning more,
And becoming an independent agent with 508 Help Desk and PCD Media Group,
here's what you need to do.
go to their website.
508helpdesk.com and request your agent opportunity info pack.
It's got all the details.
So as you think about what you want to do next,
And how you can be a part of this shift towards a more accessible internet.
think about the impact you could have.
On the businesses you help and on your own future.
It's a chance to do well by doing good.
It really is.
And who doesn't want that?